What's up, y'all? One Piece One Life here, and guys, well, the latest chapter is out. Chapter 1143 of One Piece has just come back after a break, and coincidentally, this is also my last free day of my spring break, and I'm spending it making this video for y'all because I care. But now you see, the thing is, I don't really know how to feel about this chapter yet, because like, it was definitely cool, it was a solid chapter, but I wouldn't say it was anything extremely hype, you know what I'm saying? Though at the very end we do get something that gives me a lot of hope for next week's chapter. So without further ado, let's just get into talking about it. So this is going to be the chapter 1143 review. But before we get into it, guys, do something for Monkey D me. Like the video, subscribe to the channel for more One Piece content just like this every week, and share it around with all your friends who love the series. You know what we say here, let's get it going. Oh, and make sure you subscribe to me and my boys over at CSY. We got 5K loading. LeVar Ball was on our channel. It's crazy. The chapter is titled God's Nights, which is going to be very apparent as to why. But starting us off, we don't get a continuation of Yamato's cover story. Instead, we get a color spread, and it's of the Straw Hats all doing like race car racing, but instead of it being cars the way we would have in our world, it's fish. You know, it's a color spread, it's pretty beautiful, it's cool, but what I really like is how Zoro and Sanji have inverted their colors. You got Zoro, who usually wears green, wearing blue, and Sanji wearing green instead. They're best friends. I don't care what anybody else says. But starting off the chapter proper, we have Saul alongside Robin and Chopper, who are still trying to figure out what the heck is happening with the sleepwalking kids. So Saul is trying to wake them up like, yo kids, where you going? What's going on? We need to help them. And he starts reaching out to try and help, but Robin is like, Saul, stop. Don't you remember what the PE teacher, whose name I'm forgetting because he's irrelevant, said last chapter? There's some sort of reason as to why we can't just like reach out and help them. Something is stopping us from doing that. And see, last chapter when it happened, I thought that it was like complete hypnosis. So if you try to approach the kids, whoever's controlling them, which ended up being Killingham, would end up like making them actually fight you. But no, it's something a lot more sadistic, because as Saul reaches out to try and help the kids, a bunch of thorns, like almost like a barrier, sprout out and pierce him. And Saul, who is a pretty strong giant, he's a vice admiral, is in immeasurable pain. He like falls backwards, he says it hurts, it's bad. Now what's interesting about these thorns is that they're conjured, but apparently they're also invisible, because Robin and Chopper said that they can't see what hurt him. Meanwhile, we got Anji calling in from the Walrus School, like to the village, to let everybody else know what's happening. And it's just like, yeah, so crazy thing happened at school today. The kids are all sleepwalking towards a direction that we don't know where they're going, and also if you try to approach them, you get pieced up. So back at Western Village, they're all hearing Anji say this. Dory and Braga are there, of course, and all the giants are like, whoa, wait, I have a kid who goes there. Yo, what's going on? We gotta figure this out. We show that it's being said on a telediction snail, which I don't really understand what the difference is, but I'm assuming it's supposed to be a snail that is bigger than the other snails because it's a giant sized one. And I guess because of this, it doesn't take on the characteristics of the person who's speaking through it, which is why it's diction. It's just repeating it out. Never thought I'd get this tripped up over a snail. But you have Nami and Jinbei there too, and Nami's just like, all of this, and then on top of that there's a fire. Something really weird is going on Elbaf right now. So then it turns out that Ilva, the main, I guess, girl who people were trying to wake up last chapter, that is Elder Jaw's great granddaughter. But apparently as Elder Jaw's like, yeah, we need to save her because my grandchild goes there or whatever, everybody else is like, oh, great grandchild. Nami's just like, you're all drunk, what's wrong with you? Like, y'all can't be of help possibly at all. And then Brooke is like, yeah, you can't lose your wits at a time like this. Brooke, you're drunk as hell too. Then we see a boat racing across the sky as we see that Elbaf has a fire brigade just for situations like this. However, as they're approaching the fire and making their initial descent, one of the skeletal monsters conjured by Killingham's fruit last time rears out of the tree and smacks the entire ship out of course. You got everybody just being like, what the hell is going on? And it's also interesting to note at this point that the things that Killingham conjures are actually like actual constructs and actually interact with the world. They're not illusions like the Bijo no Mi. So we cut to the God's Knights, who the three of them are just having a peaceful lunch. They have a dining table, food, everything. They're just eating and talking. So you got Summers, who was just like, did you see the look on his face when he got knocked out of the sky? Love is like a thorn of roses, ain't it? And from what I'm getting from Summer's character, it seems like he likes to talk with a lot of like idioms and, you know, turns of phrases. It also seems like Gunko just does not mess with him because she's just like, beats me. And he's just like, oh, come on, you're always such a stick in the mud. Like, can you be expressive, please? Then Summer says, the more love you have, the deeper passion's thorns take hold. He says that when the kids' parents show up to try and help them out and try to hug them, the thorns are gonna kill them, because apparently the deeper connection that you have with the person, the worse the thorns are gonna hurt, which he knows because it's revealed he's the one who conjured the thorns, as he has the thorn fruit. Might I just say, I'm so glad that we're getting Paramecia's again. I love this. And also, the thorn fruit is great as a power. I've been thinking about this for a character in my series as well, but it's a solid power to have. Also thinking that it might be the natural upgrade to Miss Doublefinger's spike fruit. But as he reveals these thorns, he's just like, even murder can be moving. And I'm not gonna lie, there's definitely something wrong with Summers. We gotta check his brain. So then Killingham wonders what route Gunko is using to actually bring the kids, and Gunko explains that she's trying to drive them through the forest to the harbor. Based on the map that's shown, it would take them by the western village, but it's again not like the actual giants can do anything about this. So as Summers is just saying, to be in the center is to be vulnerable, that's when Killingham says, you know what, Summers? This needs salt. And I kid you not, this is a crazy sequence that happens right after. Summers thinks about salt in his mind. Killingham puts Summers to sleep, and then he grabs into his thoughts, his dreams, and manifests the salt that he was thinking about. And it is confirmed, of course, that he has the mythical Zoan Kirin fruit, but it's shown here the machinations of it, in which the mythical aspect is not just to conjure nightmares like I said last time. I thought it stopped at nightmares, but no. He can literally materialize dreams into reality. And I don't think y'all understand how broken this power is, because he can make anybody think about anything before they sleep, make them fall asleep, and then just have that thing on standby. Apparently he can even wake them back up, because he just says wake back up, and Summers is like, okay. This actually may be top 3 broken abilities in the series. And I'm not gonna lie, if it is gonna be Mythical Zone, I'm glad that it's something broken, so that it actually drums up the hype of the Gods Knights. Killingham even tells Summers, I can use my ability multiple times simultaneously, so using it with this salt and using it to create all these monsters doesn't matter to me. So then they continue talking about the plan, how they're gonna take the kids back to the Holy Land. Summers is complaining that this is too easy, and then Gunko's like, wait, by the way, this is no calories, right? And this is when Killingham reveals that, it's dream food, so no calories. Which is crazy. No calories, but you're still getting the sustenance from it. That's wild. However, the last thing we get from this section is Gunko informing them, I saw Emperor Straw Hat's ship. There's gonna be trouble for us. Which is basically Oda's way of saying, those God Knights are gonna encounter the Straw Hats, and I'm interested in seeing who the matchups are. Very interested. Imagine Luffy versus Killingham and their imagination powers. Yo, this actually may be crazy. But then also another interesting thing to think is, if he's a dream manifestation person, imagine what kind of dreams like the Straw Hats could have if he tries to manifest their dreams. Wait, I just had an idea. Imagine Usopp being on Elbaf is trying to think about his dream. Killingham for some reason manifests it, and there's a better version of Usopp who actually achieved his dream, and the real Usopp is looking at that and being like, wow, I need to become this. Yep, I don't care. Usopp versus Killingham is a lock. Also, I said I'm gonna stop calling him Killingham. It's Droppa. Then in the last section of the chapter, we move to the underworld. Loki is still standing, and he's like, I know you guys are trying to stop me, but it doesn't matter. You know that I'm stronger than all of you. I'll wipe all of you out. But the whole time, he's huffing and puffing. Sanji's just like, yo, Luffy, what the hell's going on here? Luffy's just like, we gotta help him. He may die if he doesn't. Loki's actually putting on a brave face. He's just like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and slaughter everybody. Elbaf will burn. It's not gonna be pretty. Hiruden is almost about to fold, but then Zoro's just like, Hiruden, don't fall for it. Come on, bruh. And then Luffy's just like, well, can't be helped. I did say that if you did anything, I'd beat you up. Hiruden's like, Straw Hat, wait, he'll zap you if you get near, which makes me think, Hiruden, do you not know basic physics? I feel like if you're the prince of a nation, you should know that electricity doesn't work on rubber. I don't know. So Zoro says, Luffy, you about to let him out easy? His wounds are gonna open up again anyway. May as well hurt him. Yet another piece of evidence to add to the Zoro video I did 2 weeks ago about just why he's such an evil person since the time skip. So as Luffy stretches back his hands to use Gum Gum Arm Balloon, Loki's just like, well, guess I lose this round. And from the way it looks like, I don't even think Luffy has a huge contact moment with him. I think he's about to attack him, and then Loki just falls. As everybody's like, what the hell is going on? Zoro's like, from the wounds that he has, he was already on death's door. He was trying to put on a strong face to kind of scare us, and his plan was probably to get out of the chains and then go somewhere else to recover, but he just wasn't strong enough. Zoro then tells Luffy, you know that it's your call. he either lives or dies by what you want. And Luffy's like, Haruden, please, I know that he's going crazy. I know about the whole lore. I don't care right now though. I have unfinished business with him, so please heal him up. Road is in the background like, oh, you know, it looks like somebody, regardless of his crimes, actually did try to kill him. I wonder if it could be. What do you wonder it could be, Road? Haruden has to think for a bit to Luffy's request, but eventually acquiesces, and we see that Gerd, being the doctor of course, is actually starting to patch Loki up. Though of course, she says it's gonna take months for him to recover, because whoever did this was actually trying to finish him. Which, might I just say, is a crazy durability feat from Loki. To be chained up at the mercy of Shamrock's Cerberus sword, and to still be living after he was intently trying to kill him, that's crazy. So Gerd says, if we actually want to treat him properly, we gotta bring him to the village. But of course everybody's like, well, you know, he's the guy who killed Harold. No one's gonna accept him. Loki himself is like, I don't mind staying here, just leave me be at this point. So Luffy is sitting on top of Loki's horns and just like, wow, those horns really are the real deal. And Haruden's like, yep, those are the same horns our father had, the mark of the ancient giants. So we get a flashback from Haruden's perspective, where we actually see Haruden and Loki together as kids, King Harold standing up before them. Harold is just like, you're both my precious sons, so I want y'all to be, you know, kind with each other, get along with each other, so that when I'm gone, Elbaf doesn't fall into ruin. But apparently, Loki's just a bully, because he was punching and beating up on Haruden while they were fighting. Some other kid giants were in the background like, yeah, go on Loki. And Loki's just like, how can I even call you my big brother when I'm stronger than you? You really are just a bastard, huh? And of course he's saying like, your mom's got dirty blood, so you can never be the heir to Elbaf. Dirty blood is crazy. It reminds me of mud blood, the thing that they say in Harry Potter. And Haruden's remembering all of this, and he literally raises his axe to actually kill his brother. Everybody's trying to stop him like, wait, whoa, Haruden, you're going way too far. And he's like, nah, you don't understand. He insulted my mother and killed my father. He's going to die here. And then last scene of the chapter, Loki's just like, whatever, man. You've been crying about this since it happened. Just hurry up and take me out already. But honestly, the fact that you actually think that I took out our father is baffling. The others, I understand, because they're stupid. But my brother, you really think that I'm the one who killed our father? And that's how the chapter ends, which, might I just add, is a great setup, because we're finally gonna get answered in the next chapter probably what exactly happened with the whole Loki Harold flashback, especially how Shamrock is gonna play into it. But the very fact that Loki is saying this proves exactly what I was saying before. They were drumming it up way too much that, oh, Loki is so evil when Loki killed King Harold and all this. It was too played up for it to actually be the case. We're gonna forget about the time when I actually thought, oh yeah, whatever they said he did it. When I was saying, yeah, Loki's King Von, we gotta forget about that. In my opinion, this is a very solid chapter because it sets up multiple plot points for, you know, the climax of Elbaf, which also, to be able to say that we're already at the climax of Elbaf is in itself already pretty interesting, because I think that the Elbaf pacing has been great so far. But I want to know what y'all have to say about this chapter. Did you like it? Did you hate it? I can't imagine that you would. What theories do you have going into next chapter? Let me know all that good stuff and more in the comments, of course. Now that is going to be the end of the video, y'all, but before we go, like it, subscribe, and share the channel around with all your friends who love One Piece, anime, manga, hell, even other areas. If you like Naruto, if you like Bleach, it doesn't matter. Remember, I'm trying to build a community, but I need your help to do it. Now that's gonna be all from me. I'll catch you on the next one. And always remember, One Piece, one life. Now you may be wondering what's up with the straw hat. Well, you see, I went into Little Tokyo and I was like just looking for new One Piece stuff to buy, or I guess just anime merch to buy in general. And I got, of course, this amazing straw hat, this lovely chopper hoodie, and these two little pop figurines of, we have Brook on Onigashima and then Red Rock Luffy that I also got. And then elsewhere in my room on the wall facing me this way, I also put up a huge poster of Luffy's 1.5 billion bounty that my brother got me for Christmas. So you know what, man? Shout out you. And y'all, I really love One Piece merch, so if there's anything else that y'all think I should get, absolutely let me know that too.